Hey everybody, welcome back to the kitchen. Today is day 11 of the AeroGarden update, but I am going to be answering another question that someone left me, and the question was, how much does the AeroGarden cost to run? So how much energy does the AeroGarden use? I found some information online. I will break that down at the end of this video, but let's first take a look at the day 11 of the AeroGarden to see where all our herbs are in the AeroGarden. Everything's starting to grow. Okay, here we go. We are on day 11, so we're 10 full days planted right now, and it is 4 more days until we have to add the liquid plant food to the AeroGarden. Now everything's starting to actually really get some action here. So let me raise the light up so we can get the camera in there so we can see what is happening. So much like yesterday, we've got the dill. The dill was the first one to sprout, and it's coming up quite nicely. So you can probably notice a bit of difference from yesterday on the dill for sure. There's about 4 sprouts coming up there, so that's all good. And then there's lots of condensation on all the basil. It looks up quickly, so that's the Thai basil. As you can see, that is really starting to come up through the pod. And the other one is the Genovese basil. That is coming up quite nicely as well. This one's still kind of small. The Thai basil is definitely bigger. And the thyme, you should probably maybe be able to see in there now. The thyme starting to grow. So that's coming up as well. And I haven't seen anything from the mint yet, which is a bit odd because it says 6 to 10 days. So I'm not too sure. It might just be a bit delayed, or maybe the mint's not gonna work. We'll have to wait and see on that one. And curly parsley, I'll just leave that covered. We're still ways off there. It just doesn't sprout for 21 to 28 days. So that is still a ways off. We're maybe about halfway there. So hopefully we see the mint in the next couple days, poke through there. We'll have to see. So while we're here, we'll check the water level. Obviously things are growing a bit more. We're gonna have to just keep an eye on the water, but it's still right up to the fill line there. So nothing to add there, but we'll keep an eye on that. We'll check that every day now. So there is the update for days planted 10, but the 11th day update. So if this is your first time watching, I've got a whole series of these videos. You can go back in the playlist and see the progression of each day. And if you go back to day 1, you'll see the unboxing and setup of the AeroGarden. So let's go back and we will talk about how much this actually costs in electricity to run and grow your herbs at home. All right, there was a day 11 update. So I found some information online that breaks down the cost of what it costs each month roughly to run the AeroGarden Harvest. Now the one that I have is called the AeroGarden Harvest Elite. There's different models, and if your model is a different model, it may be more or less to operate depending on what it breaks down. But I will leave in the description, because I did find a nice chart, I'll leave the information on what the monthly cost estimate of the various AeroGarden models are down in the description. So if you're wondering about the one that you have, you can check out the description and see roughly how much it makes. Now it will change if your power where you live is more or less, but the one I found kind of gave a good average. And I did look up what I'm paying per kilowatt, per kilowatt in where I live. And this estimate was a little bit high, but I left it, and we'll kind of do it because the power can actually fluctuate with the cost of depending on the time of year and everything else. So this kind of does a good breakdown of what's it going to cost. So basically what we'll break it down is to calculate how much energy your AeroGarden uses. We'll use it's a math formula that we worked out. So it's the number of hours a day that your AeroGarden work is on, and that has to do with the type of plants you have. Although the pump does run all the time, the lights are the majority of the power consumption in the AeroGarden. So we multiply that number of hours of how long the light is on for to give an idea of how much this is going to cost. So number of hours each day that the AeroGarden, based on the garden planted and the AeroGarden type used, multiplied by the wattage figure from our AeroGarden. So the divided by 1,000. So my AeroGarden, it uses on average 23 watts, and So if we multiply that, 23 watts, we divide it by 1,000 to get kilowatts, and then we multiply, we got 31 days in a month. Average, we'll use 31 days just to keep things simple. So we multiply that by the cost per kilowatt hour charged by our utility here. So it's estimated 11 cents an hour. Yours may be up or down, but based on those numbers to run the AeroGarden Harvest that we have here, it's going to cost me $1.33 per month in electricity cost extra. It's going to be really what it comes down to, it's quite negligible. It's not a lot to run this, $1.50 a month. I was thinking I could maybe check this against my prior electricity bills, but with the way the seasons change and different electricity uses, there's other things in your house that's going to use more electricity than the AeroGarden. It's going to be hard to judge if this is actually super accurate, but based on what the manufacturers are saying, that's about the cost that it's going to cost. So $1.33. Now there is some different AeroGarden models. Mine is kind of in the middle of the range. So if you were going to get the one, there's one that's a lower model that has less pods and less light. It's called the AeroGarden Sprout. That is 13 watts that is used. So cost per run per month would be 75 cents on that one. Then mine is the AeroGarden Harvest, which would be $1.33 a month. Next model up is the AeroGarden Bounty. That is 48 watts per month. So that's going to cost you $278 per month. But again, you're getting a bigger growing capacity. So that will kind of offset with what you can actually grow, offset the cost of buying the herbs and everything else. So, and then the last one is the AeroGarden Farm. That's kind of more, not industrial, but it's the biggest model that they do carry. It's quite large. That uses 126 watts. So as you can imagine, it's more to run per month. And that would break down to $7.30 per month. So hopefully that gives you a good idea on what it costs to run the AeroGarden in your house. It's not that expensive. I don't think I'll actually notice any difference on my electricity bill by running this, just by having $1.30, $1.50 a month extra charge. And then again, that was based on 11 cents per kilowatt hour, and that's a little bit high for my area. So depending where you live, it might be a bit different, but not a lot to run these things. So hopefully you found that useful. Thanks for following along in the series on the AeroGarden. We're doing the daily updates in the morning. Typically I'll check where the status is of what's all growing, and it's kind of fun if you follow along. This question about how much it costs was left by a viewer in the comments. So if you did have a question about running the AeroGarden, what to grow in the AeroGarden, anything to do with the AeroGarden, leave me a comment down in the comment section and I will get it answered in an upcoming video. I'm learning to do this as I go, so hopefully you're learning as well. And if you decide to get an AeroGarden, let me know, and let me know in the comments what you are growing in your garden. We've got the herbs growing, but there's lots of other things you can grow, and it'd be kind of interesting to see what other people are growing and hearing about their experiences. So thanks for following along. Hopefully that helped with the cost and what this thing costs to operate, and we will check back in tomorrow. Until the next video, feel free to subscribe, but also hit the notification bell, because I do also do live videos on this channel from time to time. I do a scheduled live, but I also jump on with impromptu lives. So if you have the notification bell turned on with the subscription, you will get notified when I go live, so you can join in, you can chat, you can ask questions, and we can learn some cooking together. Until my next video on the AeroGarden, you can check out this one, which is the playlist starting at the beginning, and you can see all of the updates from the start. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.